Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're digging into a really big move from the automation platform N8N. They've totally revamped their pricing, and it's all built on one core idea, that your tool's price tag should never, ever limit what you can create. So let's break down what that actually means for builders like you. So let me just start by asking you this. Have you ever been in the zone, mapping out this brilliant, complex workflow, only to slam on the brakes and think, wait, how many tasks is this going to cost me, or is this one automation going to push my entire account over its limit? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, well, you're not alone.
You see, after talking to tons of users, from solo developers all the way up to huge companies, N8N heard one thing loud and clear. Most pricing models out there are just creativity killers. And it makes sense, right? You've got limits on how many workflows you can have. You get charged for every single little step. There's confusing billing. All of it makes you build with caution instead of with creativity.
So to fix this, they didn't just want to tweak a few numbers. They decided to go right back to the drawing board and rethink the whole thing from the ground up, all centered around what they're calling a builder-first philosophy.
And this philosophy really breaks down into three main goals. First, they wanted to make it super easy for anyone to get started and adopt the platform. Second, and this is a big one, they wanted to make sure the price you pay actually lines up with the value you get. So you only pay more when your automations are actually doing more. And third, they wanted to get rid of that massive, scary jump between the cheaper plans and the expensive enterprise one. And that whole philosophy led them to what is easily the biggest, most fundamental change in how they structure their plans. It's a shift that's all about getting rid of that friction so you can just build without constantly checking the meter.
And here it is. This is the heart of the change. Unlimited workflows, unlimited steps, and unlimited users on every single plan. Just let that sink in for a second. From their free starter plan all the way to the top-tier enterprise plan, those limits are just gone.
So what does this actually mean for you day to day? Well, it means you can finally try out that wild experimental idea without worrying if it's worth the cost. It means you can build those massive, super complex automations that connect a dozen different systems. It means you can roll it out to your entire team without getting hit with those painful per-user fees. And for all the self-hosters out there, they've made it very clear. The beloved Community Edition remains exactly as it is.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, if all of that is unlimited, what do you actually pay for? Well, they've centered the entire new model around one super simple metric, the execution. An execution is just a single run of a whole workflow. It doesn't matter if that workflow has 5 steps or 500. It doesn't matter if it's processing a tiny bit of data or a massive amount. It all counts as just one execution. That's it. And the difference this makes is pretty staggering. I mean, look at this. A single N8N execution could be the same as what other platforms would count as, what, thousands of different operations or tasks? The key takeaway here is predictability. You can now estimate your costs based on a real-world outcome, like how many new orders did we process, not on how complicated the process was behind the scenes.
All right, so with that foundation of unlimited building blocks and a simple execution metric, let's take a quick look at the actual plans, because they're now really designed to grow with you.
You've got the starter plan for when you're just getting your feet wet, and a pro plan for when you're ready to run serious production workflows. But here's the really interesting part for teams that are scaling up. They've added a brand new self-hosted business plan. This is designed to be the perfect bridge, giving you enterprise-level features without having to make that huge leap to the full enterprise plan, which is geared for huge organizations that need all the bells and whistles for governance and support.
Okay, so we've covered the philosophy, we've covered the features, but let's make this personal. What does all this stuff actually mean for you, depending on where you are in your automation journey?
If you're a solo builder or running a side hustle, you know the pain. You hit that workflow limit and have to stop, or you're just scared to even try a complex idea because it might cost too much. The solution here is simple. That fear is gone. You can now build and test and experiment as much as you want without ever looking over your shoulder. Now, what if you're a growing team or a startup? The classic problem is that gigantic, expensive leap from a pro plan to a full-blown enterprise contract. Well, that new self-hosted business plan we mentioned, that's the solution. It's designed to be that perfect stepping stone, giving you the serious features you need to scale securely, like single sign-on and version control, but without that enterprise-level price tag.
And for the big enterprises, the challenge is a little different. Old pricing models actually discourage people from building new things. Why would you want another department to automate something if it just makes your bill more complicated and unpredictable? The fix is that execution model. It aligns your cost directly with the value you're getting. If a workflow runs 1,000 times and saves the company a ton of money, the cost makes perfect sense.
So a change this big is definitely going to get people talking. But what's the reaction been like from the community? From the actual people using NN every day? Well, from everything we're seeing, the response has been amazing.
You see comments just like this one from Maxim Paulson, who says, "I've said it many times, but I'll say it again. N8N is the GOAT. Anything is possible with N8N." And that really captures the feeling, right? It's that feeling you get when your tools empower you instead of holding you back. And here's another one from a user named Androv, who calls NN a beast for automation and a dev's dream. And then they finish with a line that honestly sums up this whole movement. If you're not automating yet, you're working too hard. And that brings us to the most important question of all, the one that's for you. With these kinds of limits completely out of the picture, what are you going to build? What's that one ambitious, maybe kind of crazy automation idea that you've been keeping on the back burner? Drop your best ideas in the comments below. We'd genuinely love to hear them.
So there you have it, a deep dive into N8N's new builder-first pricing. If this explainer helped you get your head around the changes, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed for more deep dives just like this. Oh, and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And hey, if you know a fellow builder who's always frustrated with their tools pricing, share this with them. It might just unlock their next big idea. Thanks for watching.